Hi, I'm Lisa and welcome to my channel, The Southern Seamstress. I hope everyone's been doing well. Here in Central Arkansas, we've been experiencing some beautiful autumn days. It's been just right for taking our dogs for a walk or riding our bikes or working in the yard. And it looks like we're going to have another week of the same great weather. In this video, I'm going to give my review of Stylark's Preston Knit Sweater and also my plans for the next couple of weeks. So let's get started. So this week I finally got around to sewing my first Stylark pattern, and it is the Preston Knit Cardigan. If you saw last week's video, I had talked about making this pattern, but I was going to make it in a French terry sweatshirt fabric. But after I got my pattern pages all taped together, I was reviewing the pattern and I was looking over what fabrics it suggested. And what it had suggested was knit jersey and baby wool. Now the pictures on their website showed it made in sweatshirt fabric, and several reviewers had made it in sweatshirt fabric and had liked it. So I do probably plan to do that in the future, but I thought for the first time I make it, I would go ahead and make it in a sweater knit to see how it looked. Stylark patterns come in sizes 4 to 30, and in this particular one, the finished bust sizes are 36 1/4 to 64 1/8. It is a slightly oversized sweater. Now the fabric I chose to make it out of is just a loose jersey knit from Minerva. It's 100% polyester, and they just call it a slub sweater knit stretch, and in the color pink multi. Now I did look on their website right before I started filming, and they do still have this fabric in stock. I think they have about 24 meters left. I really love this fabric. It kind of reminds me of a stained glass window, so it does have a nice little texture to it. It's fairly loose woven, and it's fairly lightweight. I think they call it a medium weight, but it's not real thick, but it has a nice drape to it. It has a 25% stretch widthwise, and it doesn't really have a stretch along the grain line. So it does have some stretch, but it's not super stretchy. So this was my first Stylark pattern, and they don't go into a lot of details. They have sort of a line item list of instructions with just some minor diagrams to go along with it. So anyway, it just says to, cut out all your pieces. Now it didn't say anything about using any type of stay tape or clear elastic around the neck, but I thought, just to be safe, since this is kind of a loose weave, I did have some black stay tape, so I did put that on all the pieces along the neckline. And this pattern also has some pockets, and I thought that knit on the pockets might stretch out too, so I put the stay tape all around the edges of my pocket also. Now to make this sweater, I used both my serger and my regular sewing machine. And I've been forgetting in my past reviews to mention that. And I know for people that have made a bunch of knit garments that they probably, don't care what I used. But for those that don't have a serger or that are new to knits, I thought you might want to know, what steps I use for the serger and what steps I do on the regular sewing machine. So I will try to remember to mention that in this video and my future videos. So this one starts at, you make the darts. There's a dart in the top of each raglan sleeve. And I did that with just a regular stitch on the regular sewing machine. And then you join your front to the sleeve and then your sleeve to the backs. Now for that construction, I did use the serger. And normally for most construction main seams on the knit fabric, I do use my serger. The only exception really is if I'm matching stripes or a pattern and I want them to match better on the sides. Of course, you've got to cut your fabric out to make it match. But I like to do that first with the knit stitch on my sewing machine, because I usually put quite a few pins to match up the stripes. say. And with the regular sewing machine, I don't have to take my pins out until I get right up to the needle. So it kind of keeps the fabric in place better. But with the serger, I have to take the pins out before they go underneath the pressure foot, or my machine's just going to eat them. So I feel like I have a little more control with matching seams and matching stripes with the regular sewing machine. But after I do that, then I'm going to go back with my serger and do the seam to clean off the edge. So anyway, you put your sleeves in there and then you're ready for the neckline. And so after you get your 4 main pieces put together, you're ready to do the neckline. Now on this neckline, I first was going to use just the main fabric. But the main fabric is not super stretchy. And this was my original neckband, and also because of the texture, I didn't feel like it gave it a very, sharp edge along here. And then it also, this fabric, it doesn't have a lot of stretch and it has very little recovery. So I could just imagine that just really stretching out and looking terrible, and then I wouldn't be able to wear it. So I just happened to have ordered from Etsy a couple weeks ago several different colors of the ribbing fabric, and one of the colors I got was black. So I thought that would look really good with it. So I cut a piece out of the black ribbing for the neckband. Now it suggests that you just pin it, because depending on how stretchy it is, you might have to make it a little bit shorter. And I definitely found that to be true. When I pinned it to the neckband, it was almost the same size as the edge of the neck. There was hardly any stretching of the neckband. And when you put your neckband on, you don't want it the same size. You want it to be several inches shorter. Some people say they want the neckband to be about 80% or 85% of the neck opening, and it kind of depends on how stretchy your fabric of your neckband is. So anyway, these were almost the same size. So I think I originally took off about 1.5 inches, and then I pinned it again, and I decided maybe it just needed to be a little bit shorter. So I think altogether I did shorten the neckband about 2 inches. And you can see that it lays nice and flat now. So I think that was a really good length. So after you get the neckband, and of course I put that on with the serger, and then they said to top stitch it. Now later I went back, after I got all the serging done, I switched my machine as a combination serger overlocker cover stitch. So then I went back and I did a single chain stitch, like a little top stitch around here. Then after you get done with the neckband, you get to the really fun part of this pattern. And I'm saying that a little sarcastically. Next is putting in the pockets. Now you probably can't even tell this has pockets because they blend in so well. But there are little pockets here on the side, and they're stitched down to the front. And you can see my stay tape right here. Now, a lot of the reviewers said the pockets were too small, and so they usually made them a little bigger. And if you look at this pocket piece, which goes like this, it is fairly small because you got to take the seam allowance off of it. But I knew it was going to be small, but I just decided to go with it just originally because I didn't think I was really going to be using these pockets. Normally when I have a pullover sweater, they don't have pockets in the side. Now if it was a cardigan, I'd want some pockets that were usable. Now when you get to the pocket instructions, it was a little confusing because it starts talking about the pattern having an A, B, and C reference. Well, on the pattern piece, there's no A, B, and C reference. And on the main sweater front or back, there's no A, B, and C. So I went to look to see if there was a YouTube video about this sweater pattern, and I didn't find one. But then I kind of remembered that on the Style Arc website, I thought they had some tutorials. So I went on their website, and they didn't have a video tutorial, but they had just a written tutorial about inset pockets. So I went to that, and I'm going to link that in the description below, because it is pretty much a pocket like this. And in their tutorial, they have the A, B, C mentioned. So what you're going to do is you're going to sew this little piece, one of them, to each side of the front. Now I found this a little fiddly because one reason is this fabric, it does fray a little bit on the sides. And also when you stitch this in, you're going to stitch this side, but you got to leave the top. This has a 3/8 seam allowance, so you have to stop 3/8 before you get to this edge, and then you have to stop 3/8 before you get to this edge. And then when you sew your two pieces of your pockets together, and you're sewing this line and this line, you have to stop 3/8 from this edge and 3/8 from this edge. So after you sew in the first pocket piece to the front, you're going to stay stitch on the outside of the seam so it kind of lays flat. And then you're going to put your other pocket piece, the back of the pocket, up to this. When you stitch the two together, you've got to stop here and stop here. You leave these corners free, because when you stitch the back of the pocket to the back of the shirt or the sweater, you don't want to catch the front edge. So the front edge is going to be finished off, but then you only want to be able to catch this little seam. Now I had a little bit of a problem because I think when I got done with it, I didn't really have the full 3/8 of a seam left. Mine was more like a 1/4, and I was trying to catch that 1/4 into my side seam, and I was afraid I wasn't going to quite get all the raw edges in, but I just barely did. And it looks fine from the outside. Now it's not that pretty on the inside. And then you top stitch, and you can't see it, but there's a little top stitch of this outline of the pocket right here, and that keeps it nice and flat against the front. So once you get your pockets all in, I'd say you're just home free, because the rest of it is fairly easy. And the top stitch of the pocket, of course, I did just a regular stitch on my sewing machine. And when I was sewing in these seams of just the pocket area, I used a knit stitch on my regular sewing machine. So then you're ready to do the sides, and you just go from like the bottom up along the sleeve, and I did all that with a serger. Now the pattern doesn't have a sleeve cuff. It just has you turn up a hem and hem the bottom of the sleeve, and I thought it looked fine like that. Now originally when I cut it out, I forgot to mention that I took 1 inch out of the length here of the torso, and I took 1 inch off of the sleeve. It's just a little bit harder for me to on a raglan sleeve to see exactly how long it is, because you don't have that shoulder seam right here where you kind of just hold your pattern up. You know, it's got to be up here. You're not sure exactly how far on your neck it's going to go. So I knew it was going to be too long, but just to be safe, I just took 1 inch off. And if I had just hemmed them, I still would have had to take probably another 1 inch or 2 off, because they're fairly long sleeves. But I decided, since I had put the black ribbing up here, that I would put more of it down here to kind of just balance this black out. So what I did, I wound up cutting off another couple of inches, and these are 2-inch bands. So I made my band just about 1 inch less in width than the sleeve edge. And then I put it on my wrist, but it seemed a little bit loose on my wrist, so I took like another 1/2 inch off. So it pulls in the sleeve just a little bit, but I really like how this cuff looks. Now when I showed it to my husband, I always model the garments after I get done to see how he likes them, and he thought the cuff needed to be not as wide. But anyway, I think I like the 2-inch. If I made it any narrower, I would probably keep it at least 1.5 inches. So I think 1.5 inches to 2 inches is what would look the best on the sleeve cuff. I don't think I would do it, you know, as skinny as this. So for the bottom, it just has you turn up the hem about 2 inches, and it says that the bottom edge of the pocket should sit right inside the seam. And and you're supposed to do a little twin stitch along the bottom. And I kind of wish it had like a diagram that showed how the stitching of the bottom of the pocket, how close it was supposed to be to the twin stitch. My twin stitch comes maybe like a 1/4 of an inch below the pocket. So I was just trying to keep that straight. Now I think my other pocket's a little different, but I did do this with a cover stitch. So changed my machine over to a cover stitch, did the twin stitch here and the single stitch here. And then that's all there is to the sweater. It's all finished. Now I really love how this fabric worked with the sweater. I think the fabric's beautiful. It feels really good on, and I'm going to go try it on in just a minute for you. I like the width of the sleeves. They weren't too tight. I think these darts give really good shaping to the shoulder. So I do want to make this pattern again. Now when I make it again, and I might make it out of sweatshirt fabric, but if I make it out of sweater fabric again and it's not very stretchy, I will do the rib knit again. I do like the bands. Now if I use sweatshirt fabric, I'd probably still try to find a matching rib knit. I don't think I would ever put in these pockets again. If I did do pockets, I would probably just do regular set-in pockets where so one side to the front, one side to the back, and then when you go down your side seam, you go around the pocket. Just a regular inset pocket. I wouldn't mess with this unless you just like fiddly things. But if I was doing it like this, I would definitely make them bigger. But I think it would be fine without any pockets. And also I think I would go ahead and shorten this and then put a band around the bottom. And I think even if your fabric wasn't super stretchy, if it had some stretch, I think, you know, like a 2-inch band out of the fabric would still work, because it's not going to be stretching like a neckband or a sleeve band in and out. It's going to be something that just kind of pulls in your fabric a little bit and gives it some shape. Or another thing, a lot of people like to wear the sweater over leggings. If I was going to wear it over leggings, instead of shortening it 1 inch, I would probably add several more inches to it, because when I wear leggings, I want my whole bottom to be covered up. So I would probably want it about right here. So I took 1 inch off, so I'd probably overall add about 3 inches to it. And I think it would look cute over leggings if it was more of a tunic length. And here's how the back looks. So I really like this fabric. It's one of my favorite fabrics that I've made anything in. So anyway, that's the Preston knit sweater, and I'm going to go try it on so you can, you know, see the proportions on me. So this is how it looks on me, and I think I forgot to mention that I made the size 6. So I made the size 6, but the body of it is 1 inch shorter. And then, of course, the sleeve is several inches shorter. And then I added the cuffs. And my hands are not overly large. If I have my fingers out straight, this is how far I can get my hand into the pocket. So not a very deep pocket. And I don't think I would like be putting keys or anything in here, because I'd be afraid they would fall out. So I'm not sure. It keeps your fingers warm. That's about all they do. Here's the front, and this is how long it is on me. And then this is the back. But it's very cozy. I really like this fabric. I think it's 100% polyester. And I think the colors are so pretty. I think it'll go good with black, and I just ordered some teal colored corduroy pants that I think is going to look really pretty with it for the holidays. So this is Stylark's Preston knit sweater. So this was the only garment for me that I got made this week, but at the last couple of days I've been trying to finish up a few things for my Operation Christmas Child boxes. If you saw that video, I had been making these little pouches. They just have like a little envelope type top. And I had bought like this package of 16, I think, children's sunglasses, and I wanted to put their little sunglasses in here. Then I also decided these pouches were good for putting like the little Hot Wheel cars in. And you can get about 4 of those cars in here. So that just kind of gives the kids a place to store them without losing them. And then it's also a great size if you give them any type of playing cards. They can put it in here. That way if the box they come in, you know, gets torn up or something, they can keep their cards all together. So anyway, I got several more of these made. Here's some cute ones with the little ball sports on them for the boys. I think these could be boys or girls because of the colors. And then I have a few more that I had shown in my previous video. And the only thing else I got made for Operation Christmas Child, I had made some knapsacks, and I got a few more of those made. Here's just a kind of a neutral gray. It looks like it's got cotton plants on it. And then I had found some canvas fabric that I think I got from Walmart last year. And so I had made a couple in this fabric, and I didn't do the self straps in this. I had some paracord, and so I just used that for the drawstrings, so that worked out well. And then I had this fabric, I think from Walmart from last year, that I didn't get sewn up last year, and so I've got about 4 of these, I think. And I do have the self straps in those. I think I ran out of the straps, and so I ordered from Amazon a couple days ago some more paracord, and so I'm waiting to get that in. I think that's coming in tomorrow, and then I'll be able to finish the last 2. So I like to give these knapsacks to the older group, especially the boys, because sometimes I give the girls like tote bags. So that's what I finished up my week with. So I think I probably will not be making a video next week. I've got a busy week ahead. If you are doing shoe boxes for Operation Christmas Child, this coming week is collection week, November 13th through the 20th. And you can look online at their website to see where the collection centers are. I know in where I live, there's one main collection center, and it's at one of the larger churches in our town. And they usually have their hours posted, and they put up little signs around town letting people know it's collection week. So I'm going to be spending the next couple of days just organizing my boxes because I haven't started that at all. I've got my boxes laid out. I've got about 30 boxes, and I have collected just a ton of stuff this year. And my sister has also given me a lot of things to put in the boxes. So that's going to take me a little while to decide what goes in each box. I have certain things that I put in every box, you know, like the hygiene items and the school supplies. But then the toys and the fun stuff, they'll just be divided out according to their age or whether they're a boy or girl. Also this week, I want to put my Christmas lights up outside. I have some icicle lights that I like to put out across the front of the house. And my husband has some back problems, and his balance isn't very good. So I'm the one who usually gets on the ladder and puts up our Christmas lights and then takes them down after Christmas. So it's supposed to be pretty weather. I know sometimes I've waited too long and I've had to put them up in the freezing cold, and that's not fun at all. So I want to do that this week. I'm going to get my tree put up this week. So it's going to be pretty busy. And then I'm going to be working on my next video. My next video is going to be gift ideas for the holidays or for any time of the year that you need a gift. And I'm trying to have a variety of gift suggestions in my video that will work for younger kids, teenagers, adults, men, women. Also, I'm trying to use mostly free patterns because I know everyone likes a free pattern. And I'd really like to get an example made up of each one. So hopefully I will, if I skip next week's video, it'll give me a little bit more time to prepare for this one. Hopefully it'll be coming out Thanksgiving weekend. So that does it for today's video. So if I don't see you before Thanksgiving and that's a holiday that you celebrate, so I hope it's just a wonderful time together with friends and family. If you enjoyed this video, I would love for you to give it a thumbs up. And if you've not subscribed to my channel already, I would love for you to hit that subscribe button and also the notification button so you'll know when my next video comes out. So until I see you in my next video, take care and have fun sewing.